Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! So, it all went down at my job in a fast food joint where I had the pleasure of meeting the most entitled Karen I've ever encountered. So, it was just another typical evening at the fast food place I worked at. The smell of fries lingered in the air and the soft hum of the soda machine played in the background. I was behind the counter taking orders and serving customers with my usual smile. Little did I know this day was about to take a turn for the crazy. Enter Karen. She strolled in with that classic "I'm the queen of the world" attitude, and her eyes immediately locked onto me. I could sense trouble brewing, but hey, customer service is the name of the game. "Excuse me," Karen barked, waving her finger at me. "I ordered a burger and it's just not up to my standards. I want a refund right now." I looked at the receipt she slammed on the counter. "I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am. Can you tell me what the issue is so I can help you better?" "Oh honey, it's a disaster. This burger is an insult to my taste buds. I demand my money back." Karen huffed, crossing her arms like she just conquered the kingdom. I took a deep breath, preparing for what felt like an impending storm. "I apologize for the inconvenience, ma'am. If you could let me know what's wrong with the burger, we can sort this out." She scoffed. "First of all, it's not gourmet enough for me. I specifically asked for extra pickles, and I counted only 11. 11? This is unacceptable." I blinked, processing her complaint about the pickle count. "I'm really sorry about that. Let me get you a new burger with extra pickles, and we won't charge you for it." But Karen was having none of it. No. I don't want another burger. I want my money back. This is a disgrace." At this point, a line was forming behind her and people were starting to exchange awkward looks. Karen, however, was on a mission. "I demand to see the manager. This place needs a lesson in customer service," she declared with a voice loud enough to turn heads. I signaled to my manager, Sarah, who was already on her way. Sarah was a no-nonsense kind of person, and I prayed she could handle Karen's theatrics. Sarah approached with a smile that could charm a snake. "Hi there, I'm Sarah, the manager. How can I assist you today?" Karen's eyes narrowed as she prepared to unleash her wrath. "Your employee here has ruined my dining experience. I demand a refund for this insult of a burger." Sarah glanced at me and I gave her the brace yourself look. "I'm sorry to hear that. We can either refund your purchase or replace the burger with extra pickles. What would you prefer?" "I don't want your subpar burgers. Just give me my money back," Karen demanded, tapping her foot as if trying to summon a refund genie. Sarah processed the refund on a register, handing Karen her money. "Here you go. We apologize for any inconvenience. Is there anything else we can do for you?" But Karen wasn't satisfied. "This is ridiculous. I demand compensation for the emotional distress this has caused me. You people should be ashamed of yourselves." I exchanged looks with my co-workers, wondering if we had entered an alternate reality. Karen was escalating and it was about to get crazier. "I'm sorry you feel that way, ma'am. We strive to provide the best service. Sometimes mistakes happen," Sarah explained, keeping her cool. "Your apology won't cut it. I demand a gift card, a voucher, something to make up for this nightmare." Karen insisted, her face turning a shade of red that clashed with her perfectly coiffed hair. Sarah sighed, clearly reaching the end of her patience. "I understand you're upset, but we've already refunded your purchase. I can't offer any additional compensation." That was the final straw for Karen. She slammed her palms on the counter, sending a shockwave through the restaurant. "I won't stand for this. I demand to speak to your corporate office. You people need to learn how to treat customers." By now, the entire restaurant was watching the Karen spectacle unfold. Sarah took a deep breath and handed Karen a business card. "Here is the contact information for our corporate office. They'll be happy to assist you further. Have a great day." Karen snatched the card like it was a golden ticket and stormed out, leaving behind a sea of stunned onlookers. We thought the drama was over, but oh boy, were we wrong. A few minutes later, as we were trying to return to normal, Karen burst back in like a tornado of entitlement. You think you can get away with this? I'll have your jobs. This place will pay for ruining my evening. Customers gasped. Sarah, however, stood her ground. Ma'am, I've already refunded your purchase and provided you with our corporate contact. There is nothing more we can do for you here. Please leave peacefully. But Karen was beyond reason. She pointed an accusatory finger at Sarah. You will regret this. I demand to see your corporate office in person. I'll have you all fired. Sarah calmly picked up the phone to call the authorities. I'm sorry, but if you continue to cause a disturbance, I'll have to involve the police. We can't tolerate harassment of our staff and customers. Karen laughed, a high-pitched, maniacal cackle that sent shivers down my spine. Call the police? Go ahead. They won't dare touch me. I know my rights. Sure enough, the police arrived shortly after and Karen was still going strong with her tirade. The officers approached her with a stern expression ready to restore order. Ma'am, we've received reports of a disturbance. We need you to calm down and leave the premises, one of the officers said. Karen squared her shoulders looking defiant. You can't make me leave. I demand justice for the abomination I endured here. The officers exchanged looks, clearly unimpressed by Karen's theatrics. If you refuse to cooperate, we will have to escort you out. You can address your concerns with the corporate office or file a complaint through proper channels. Karen, feeling invincible, crossed her arms. Fine, I'll leave, but this place hasn't seen the last of me. You'll all pay for this humiliation. Little did we know Karen had one more act left in her drama-filled saga. The next day, we received a call from the corporate office expressing concern about the incident. Apparently, Karen had filed a formal complaint, twisting the story to make us look like the villains. We were flabbergasted. How could someone be so dedicated to their entitlement that they would go to such lengths to tarnish our reputation? It seemed like an uphill battle, but we were determined to set the record straight. The corporate office reviewed security footage, interviewed witnesses, and fortunately signed it with us. Karen's false claims were exposed, and the higher-ups were appalled by her behavior. They issued a formal apology to our team and assured us that appropriate action would be taken. The day after the corporate office cleared us of Karen's false accusations, we thought the fast food fiasco was finally behind us. But little did we know that Karen wasn't finished wreaking havoc. A week later, as the lunch rush hit its peak, Karen stormed back into the restaurant, a storm of fury in human form. I could see the fire in her eyes as she made a beeline for the counter, her face contorted with rage. You thought you could get away with this, huh? Well, I'll make sure you pay. She hissed at us. Sarah, having learned from the previous encounter, calmly approached her. Ma'am, we've already addressed your concerns with the corporate office. If you have any further issues, we ask that you communicate through the appropriate channels. But Karen wasn't having it. She reached over the counter, knocking over a stack of napkins in a fit of rage. You people ruined my life. I'll make sure you pay for it. Some of the customers started recording the unfolding drama on their phones. I felt a knot forming in my stomach, realizing that this could escalate quickly. Security was called to the scene, hoping to defuse the situation. However, Karen had other plans. She grabbed a tray of condiments and flung it across the counter, narrowly missing Sarah. You can't hide behind your corporate nonsense. I'll make you all suffer. Karen screamed, her face turning an alarming shade of crimson. The security guard stepped in, trying to calm her down. Ma'am, you need to leave peacefully. We won't tolerate this behavior here. But Karen was beyond reason. In a fit of blind rage, she lunged at the security guard, scratching and clawing like a wild animal. Chaos erupted as customers scrambled to get out of the way, and the security guard struggled to restrain her. Get off me! I'll sue all of you! You can't treat me like this! Karen screeched. The police were called once again, this time with a sense of urgency. As they arrived, they found Karen in a full-blown meltdown, still thrashing against the security guard grip. Ma'am, you're under arrest for assault and disorderly conduct. Please cooperate or we will have to use necessary force, one of the officers warned her. Karen, seemingly unfazed, continued her violent outburst. The officers, left with no other choice, restrained her and placed her in handcuffs. The restaurant fell silent as the reality of the situation sank in. "I demand to speak to my lawyer. You're all going to pay for this," Karen shouted as she was escorted out of the restaurant, her threats echoing in the air. The aftermath was surreal. The once bustling fast food joint was now a quiet space, customers exchanging wide-eyed glances as they processed the shocking turn of events. Oh well, the entitled Karen, who had once claimed emotional distress over pickles, was now facing real consequences for her violent actions. Well deserved. I want to get along with everyone, but my wife's extended family is full of some really bad people. They are perfectly nice to everyone to their faces, but no sense of morals. They are the kind of people that think that scamming and stealing is a legitimate way to get ahead in the world and accomplishments. For an example, one of my wife's uncles chose gaming over working during his marriage. When his wife divorced him for cheating on her, he won alimony and half of her money, which totaled over $500K. After he got it, he bragged and everyone congratulated him on becoming financially stable. Yep, it's those kind of people. Of course, my wife loves her family, so we can see them frequently. I'm trying to raise my kids to have some actual morals. So I try to counteract the lessons they are learning from that side whenever I see it. The big news at Thanksgiving was that one of my wife's cousins, Tia, and her husband just became homeowners for the first time this year. She and her husband are young, so there were questions, and the story was recounted. Well, her husband's grandma died. She'd left the house to her kids to split, but her lawyer father-in-law figured out a loophole to take the entire house for just his son, and had him jump on it before the rest of the family even had a chance to know about it. He wanted to help out his son, so he paid the entire cost to make it happen as a wedding gift. And to be able to screw over his ex-wife and her siblings, no doubt. Per usual, everyone was congratulating them. I tried to have a side conversation with my kids to make sure they knew that they really stole the house, and that wasn't right. It was overheard and started the whole thing about how it wasn't Tia's fault and what did I expect her to do. I am willing to give that a little bit of exception because while it was actively being done, she didn't even know anything about it because she was in a psych ward. But she does now, and she's certainly reaping the benefits. If something you want to not be complicit in happens, you have to do something to go against it. You don't get to go, "It wasn't my fault and therefore I don't have any responsibility here," while you waltz around your free house every day still cuddling up to the person that stole it. Everyone accused me of bullying Tia when I know she's vulnerable, and being too hard on her for just trying to be a good wife and survive when I know she's had a hard time. And this is such a good break for her, so why can't I be happy for her? I wanted to keep peace, so I said that we see things differently, and I told my wife I was leaving. I will pick her up when she was ready. After I left, Tia apparently had a panic attack and had to be calmed down. And now I am the #1 enemy and they all want an apology. I don't want to give one because I'm not in the wrong here. Is this really something I'm supposed to be okay with? And now some comments on the post. Someone saying, unless you want your children growing up to become usury jerks, this is a hill to die on. You need to have a conversation with your spouse about how you don't want her family's low morals spreading to your children. But do so calmly and give her a chance to explain her side without interruptions. Once she has, ask her to allow you to explain your side of the story in a similar fashion. Make sure to try and cite examples of situations you didn't agree with, and how you're worried this will affect the growing perceptions of your children. Also, ask how she would feel if her family felt they could get ahead at your expense. Because if they think conning family out of rightful inheritance is brilliant, then they probably wouldn't think twice about screwing you over for the sake of your spouse. If she fails to see any of your points, I'd make sure you have one hell of a lawyer you trust. As to the cousin's panic attack, not your problem really. She better get used to people outside the family thinking she and her husband are scummy because, well, they are. Another commenter adds, not the jerk. I think that it's wild that their whole family is making you out to be the bad one in all of this. I understand Tia has a lot going on and no one wants to make her feel worse, but what about her husband's siblings? What about them? They had what was theirs stolen right out from under them. Where is the consideration for them? The third commenter goes with, not the jerk. How is your wife accepting of this? I would question her morals if she's okay with this. How old are your kids? I would limit the time they spend with that family.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.